Lynn Kenyon, Everything Montana Real Estate, in conjunction with Live in Montana Real Estate. This is our whole series on everything related to real estate, and it almost is. I mean, we already have several different videos, and I think about just so many things we haven't even touched on. So there's so many things related to real estate. We're going to talk about Airbnbs today. There's a hot market. A lot of people kind of like the idea of investing in an Airbnb, and there are some advantages and disadvantages like everything in real estate. Brad and I started getting involved in Airbnbs like almost in the beginning. 2007-8, when the market crashed, we had two very, very expensive houses side by side and still had to make our mortgage. So it was like, what are we going to do here? Because we didn't need two houses. It was the beginning of the market. We lived in Craig, and there was a huge need for fishermen. So we started an Airbnb, two of them side by side, and learned a lot in the years, and it has really evolved. Didn't used to be Airbnbs so much. It used to be VRBO and HomeAway, and those, they bought each other out. Pretty much the market now is Airbnb, VRBO. There are some other ones, Evolve. Do your homework, pick which one you want. They all have different formats, different ways to market your house, different expenses, different cleaning fees, all kinds of things. So do your homework, look at what works best for you. You don't even have to put them on one of those. You can put them on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, or like in the town of Craig, we just went and talked to the fly shops, and they put us on their sites. So between all that, you get maximum exposure and can make some extra money on a house. So let's walk through this one. This is between guests. I know the snow. We have ice fishing up here. So we're in Valier, Montana. Lake Francis is right down the road. This is a house we bought very affordably. We have 3 houses in Valier, and the other 2 we do monthly. But we thought, well, let's try an Airbnb here. There's not a lot of competition, and it's turned out really well. So look at your competition. I know Justin, we've talked about in Great Falls, said all of a sudden it's just there's saturation. There are more Airbnbs, nightly rentals, VRBOs, then there is a need. And then what happens then? Supply, demand, basic economics, your prices go down. So then it's like, is it worth doing? This one, we were staying, I would keep it up here when I did business up here, and we just weren't using it that much. So it was like, well, let's try it and see. I think we're like $175, I have somebody manage it for me, $175 a night. The key on these, so the first thing you want to know is you want to do it correctly. You want to get licensed properly if you're in a city or a county, and that it's every county, every city is a little bit different on their process. Typically though, they want to know it's safe. It's all about health and safety when you're dealing with the public. So they want to have fire extinguishers, they want to have CO2 detectors, they want to have smoke detectors. We can walk over here. They want to have safe water. So this is city water, but I have had several with wells. So you have to check your water. You send it into a lab. They test the water and make sure it's safe drinking water. On this one, I had to go through the county, and she came out and wanted to test the water heat. It couldn't be too hot, because if it's too hot, it's scalding. Then ironically, I get a guest who complains that her water's not hot enough, and she wants her money back because the water's not hot enough. So there you go. And that's a big deal. We'll talk about that in a minute, keeping your guests happy, or you might as well not do it. So this was an old house. It's a historic house, actually. I'm trying to get on the historic register. You know how I love history and all that goes along with it. So it's fun to decorate. This is right by Lake Francis, so, you know, more, and grizzly bears everywhere. So a lot of fishing motif. And the thing is, too, that your guests are looking at is how many people can they accommodate. So the more beds you have, the more people you can have in it, usually the higher you can charge. So I have a king bed here. I have a crib. This is geared towards, you know, big groups of people if that's what they want, for only $175 a night. So think about that if you're staying in a hotel room. Not a lot of competition money-wise. So I have a bed here, I have one in this room, and then I put 2 down in the other room. So that's one of the things, because now I can arguably sleep over 6 people if you add the crib, even more, and that's what people start looking at. They'll compare how many you can sleep versus you know, a hotel and some of your competition. So keep that in mind. You want to do that. You can do a laundry service. There are several in all these towns. Even these small towns have laundry services. So they come, they'll pick up your sheets, they'll clean them for you. They're not the quality of some of the sheets that you can buy. So it depends if you're a lower end Airbnb, if you want to be a luxury Airbnb. The one Brad and I started in the beginning was $1,200 a night. So, I mean, there's that out there, but it slept 12 people and it was over the top fancy. So just depends on who your target audience is. In Valier, Montana, I'd say it's more midstream. This is a town that's on the way to Glacier. So a lot of tourists in the summer, really, really busy in the summer. So just something to think about. This is the history here. I mean, people like that. You know, if you're coming to Montana, this house was the original doctor and the mayor's house. So it's kind of a crazy thing. I found his granddaughter who's alive, and she and I are trying to get it on the historic registry. So, you know, stuff like that, just more depth. You know, your hotel doesn't probably have that. Well, some do, but most of your major franchise hotels don't have that history and just the warmth and the charm that an Airbnb can. And again, some people are very minimalist. I'm obviously not, but you can be minimalist and you know, just depends on, again, that's what some people like, and that's who your target is, just like anything, just like selling a home. It's the same thing on an Airbnb. One of the things, couple things, as we're walking through, just to tell you, so you have to assess a bed tax. So if you're doing this yourself, you're not on one of the main Airbnb channels, and you're charging and you're collecting money and taking it, you have to charge a bed tax, and you pay that quarterly. So watch that. So go get your license, get that correctly. One of the things that they look at, I said water, I said ingress, egress. You have to make sure you can get in and out easily, that people aren't trapped in a bedroom. Obviously, that's a big deal. They don't like soiled linens next to clean linens. Thank you. That makes sense. I don't either, so that's good. So they watch that. They want to look at where you have to submit a floor plan of where things are going to go. Where are your cleaning supplies? So this is all stuff. I mean, it's not insurmountable, but it's something you have to do, and you want to do it correctly. And a lot of people will kind of renegade it and not get a license. I don't recommend it. My insurance, my homeowner's insurance, they know I do this nightly. Another thing you want to make sure, some of those online sites will have a layer of insurance. Depends on who you are. If you like double protection, I do. I want to make sure all that is there. This is an old house, so we've done a lot of things, and again kept the history. We're not far from the Blackfeet Reservation, and look at some of these pictures are really fun, I think. Bathtub, you have to have mats in the tub. Again, all safety. That's what they're looking for. This was fun with the charm. So you've got your taxes. Then I don't have time to manage these. That's why I wasn't even sure what I'm charging. So I have a manager. He charges. He takes care of all this for us. And then, again, this is kind of dirty because it's between guests. He charges me 1%. So he charges about 15%. I think that's pretty standard. So your online booking places are going to take 1%. Then if you can't manage them and you have a manager, he's going to take 1%. And then I don't clean my own house. I'm not cleaning this. So I have somebody who comes in and cleans for me. There's a cleaning fee on some of the sites. So those are all things when you're evaluating this. Okay, so I could get, I don't know, $800 a month. But if I do Airbnb, what can I get on a nightly basis? You don't have to do it very many nights at $175 to add up to that 800. Like on this one, I think he told me the other day, we have the whole month of July. So it's like $3,000. Well, that's, everything is math. When you're evaluating, should I do an Airbnb? Should I do a monthly rental? Should I flip it? It's all comes down to looking at your numbers, seeing what your return is, and then of course against your hassle factor. And if you're gonna manage them yourself, obviously that's a big, and you're gonna clean them yourself, and you're going to put them on just your sites and not pay that. That's all gonna be in your pocket and help you a lot. So that's something definitely to think about. So we can walk through just this one. This is just a good example. It's not a huge house. It's not a fancy house. Our situation was that we just weren't using it. So you got to get a license, and you have to post the license. We talked about that. I have my 24 somewhere. Kitchen, just what you're going to have in these. I leave mine pretty stocked. Can't have food. They don't want any food. You can have coffee. You can have creamer. But they don't want to see a bunch of things that could get contaminated. If you had flour and that sort of thing. We leave salt and pepper packets that are all reusable, or not reusable, throwaway, disposable. So we do have those. But I'd like to leave some stuff here. It's nice if you have a dishwasher. Obviously, some of these older homes you don't. And then I know that, like when Brad and I did our first ones, we kept our personal stuff in a closet. So we locked our own stuff because we do like to come up occasionally. And so we put our own personal stuff, like this is downstairs. So that has our code. No one can go down there. So if we have anything personal, we can still use it. And that's my sister and I were talking about this yesterday because she's thinking about doing it. It's like, well, I just want to go to Florida, but I only want to go, a few weeks out of the year. So I think I'll get an Airbnb, reserve it for myself when I want it, and then it pays for itself, property taxes, insurance, for when she's not there. So I think that's really the trend. Is it's kind of a nice. You can have a second home that doesn't just run you dry as far as bleed you dry as far as money. So you can have the second home, you can have a third home, and it's offset by these. Or this is your whole portfolio is Airbnbs, and that's obviously another option for us. Again, we've had several. Right now, we only have 2. The more beds, the better. Again, this is between guests. TVs, so you're going to pay for internet. You're going to pay for internet. You're going to have obviously TVs, streaming, cable. Those are expectations people have. And some gals I know who are cooks will offer that, more of a bed and breakfast style. And that's this is kind of a hybrid. You can do that too if you wanted to do that. I don't cook, so I don't do that. But you can do that. You can figure that out, or have them available. For the one that we had that had so many places, so many rooms, we had cooks. So those are just services you can tell your people, then you can leave out for them. That, okay, here's where you can go shopping. This is where, they come here as a guest. A lot of them on these Airbnbs want to stay more than a night. That's why they do an Airbnb and not a motel or a hotel room. So anything you can provide them, little guest books. So just kind of think of it, or go stay in some yourself and see what you like and you don't like. They always say stay in your own Airbnb. So you stay there a night and go, oh, wait a minute. Where's the creamer? Where's the sweet and low? I forgot that. So stay in yours so you know what the experience is like, is a good recommendation. Laundry. So you can get these laundry services, or you can do your own. We do our own because I like the sheets better. But it's just up to you. A lot of guests like the access to your laundry. So then you've got to decide, are you going to let them have access to all your stuff? So just some things to think about. You probably wouldn't think about if you've never done one or never owned one. Do I want them to have access to my laundry? Do I want to do my own laundry? Do I want the laundry facility? Do I want to barbecue? This is not really the day to show the backyard, but this is a really nice backyard. People go out there, they want to barbecue. Who pays for the propane? Do you need to make sure your propane's there? Do you want briquettes? I mean, it's just all how many services. And when you're going through these, and we can go back through here, when you're going through the features, because if you go on one of these major sites, they're going to ask, are you handicap accessible? Are you, what do you have available? Are you air conditioning? All these things are part of what you decide if you want to offer or not. Again, that all can affect your likability and your appeal, but they can also affect your bottom line. So something you want to definitely consider. And just this is I think it's cute. It was a very affordable house. We were able to experiment up here in an area that didn't have a lot. I would say, really in conclusion, make it cute. They'll like that. Make it warm. Make it look nice and not, they don't want to see a bunch of your personal stuff out. Like I don't have any pictures of us or anything in here. I don't have soaps that people are using over and over again. I ordered soaps so that they're usually they're all fresh. Lotions, all the stuff, all the stuff you would get in a hotel are nice to be here. So they feel it's a nice balance between a hotel and a home. But you don't want to go too much home. You don't want to go too much hotel, or that's what they're trying to get away from when they get your Airbnb. So think about that. And in conclusion, I would say probably the number one thing you need to really think about, and you don't think about when you start, is your reviews. And they'll make you crazy. I'm just telling you right now. But do everything you can in your power to keep your reviews high. Because when people are looking for Airbnbs, when you're looking for a restaurant, when you're looking for anything nowadays, you look at your reviews. And there's always going to be a bad one that's just going to be mean, and they have the power, and they will say, I'm not going to pay you if you don't do X, Y, Z. So there's a lot involved in reviews, and they'll look at your host. They'll see who your host is. Like I said, I'm not doing mine. I have somebody do it for me. What is their reputation? So your reputation in Airbnb is crucial. So think about that. That's why you make sure everything's clean. You have a good cleaner. That's the other. I have this cleaner who's on her way. So you don't want messy, because there goes your bad. You're going to get a bad review. So the obvious things, like think about what you would give if you were in an Airbnb. How would you rate it? And how would you want to be seen to the public? And that's what you need to think about when you're doing or opening your Airbnb. So do your homework, see what your market is, see how saturated it is, see how many people are doing it around you, look at their occupancy, how many rooms are booked. If they have 2 nights booked in a month, may not be a good place to invest in. So look at that, compare the markets and how much their occupancy is. Look at their rates. Look at other people's reviews. Look at their amenities. So you're going to want to match some amenities if you can afford to. Look at your price against what your property taxes are. What your insurance is going to be, because it's going to be different than if you just had this sitting here by itself. What your insurance is for an Airbnb. What you're able to afford. If you have an uncomfortable bed, you're probably going to have to get new beds. You're going to have to get new furniture. Does it have to be over the top expensive? Depends on who your market is. Who's your market? What is their expectation? Just a lot of things to think about. And it's fun. We like being able to use this house when we want it and also make the money. But it's like any business. There's no guarantee, and you have to be smart, and you have to treat it like a business. And there you go. So have fun. Like I said, we've done all kinds of levels. We've gone as low as this and as high as the $1,200 a night. And there's a lot to be learned, but it's definitely the trend. Just be careful what you do your homework, and good luck. Thanks for joining us. Lynn Kenyon, Everything Montana Real Estate, in conjunction with Live in Montana Real Estate. Thanks a lot.